All right, we're going to get going. I know there's still a few people joining, but they can join in when they're ready. So first and foremost, thank you. Happy Wednesday, midweek, hump day. We're excited to be here. You know, I know a lot of us are probably enjoying our summer. The weather has been great. I hope you've gotten to enjoy it, get to visit with family and friends, long overdue. Wanted to jump on and just do a little bit of a market update, talk to the Canadian economy, talk to some of the projects that Hirsch currently has and that we have coming. You know, we've been extremely busy, so we haven't had the luxury of slowing down this summer, which, you know, I think is a great thing. We're working on a lot of stuff that's in the pipeline. We have a lot of stuff coming, kind of, you know, incentives and such that we're going to be launching in the fall as well. But I think it's important, and I think this was really important not only for myself, but for my team, because there's obviously been, you know, the last 2 years has been lots of changes. Things have, you know, things get busy, things slow down, things get busy, things slow down. It's been kind of a roller coaster ride. But obviously we've had a really amazing real estate market, and we're seeing that slow down a lot in the summer. And, you know, as soon as interest rates were, you know, mentioned at the 1% hike that they did in July, the first thing I did was, you know, reach out to my team. And this is the time, in my opinion, that you need to be educated. We need to educate ourselves. We need to understand what's going on in the market. Why is right now the best time to buy? And I think that there's a lot of hesitation. You know, there's a lot of negativity out in the media. And if you are not prepared to have those difficult conversations, and if you are not confident in the market yourself, then you cannot sell, you know, purchasing right now and sell the market to your clients. So, you know, to your clients or to your family, or if you're a buyer on here right now and you're looking to buy, you know, you want to know why to buy now and to get that confidence. So really, that's our goal here today. Our goal is for anyone who's joining us, whether you're an agent, whether you're a buyer, whether you're a seller, whether you're just interested in the market, you know, this is to kind of give you a bit of an idea of why I truthfully think that now is the best time to buy, and kind of where, you know, our predictions are of where the market's going to go, and just giving you some stats, because I think that knowledge is power in these, especially in a time like this, and really understanding, you know, kind of what's going on and kind of what's being forecasted. So let's just talk to the Toronto real estate market kind of as a whole. So, you know, the elephant in the room, we're going to address it. There was, you know, there's been interest rate hikes over this last year, with the big one that was 1% back in July, which, you know, we've seen has kind of brought a lot of buyers and sellers sitting on the sidelines wondering, okay, what's going to happen? And they're nervous, and fair. It's, you know, it was a bigger hike than I think most anticipated. But, you know, one thing I want to mention is if you look at our prime rate today versus pre-pandemic, we're in the same position. And I think what's happened is a lot of people, you know, we jumped into a market, we got into the market at a 1%. I was getting rates, my husband and I, our house, we had an investment, 1.5%, 1.65% interest rate. That's not normal. In history, that is not a normal interest rate. And I think we all knew the interest rates were going to go up. So, you know, the way we did it is we budgeted knowing, okay, we'll be lucky if we get a year with these interest rates, and then we need to budget this at a 3.5%, a 4% interest rate, because that is the norm. And so we kind of, you know, luckily, yes, we put away that money and we budgeted for that, knowing it was going to go up. So for us, this was no surprise. Now, and, you know, let's go back, is that there is a lot of people who want to get into the market, and that interest rate really helps them get in. And, you know, for a lot of people, an interest rate hike of 1% or 1.5% is a substantial amount of money per month, especially if they're on a variable. And if they're not properly planned for it, you know, it's adjusting your lifestyle. You know, let's talk a little bit about the overview of the market and the impact of home sales. We'll use June 2022 because that's the last stats that we have here. So the sales were down 41% compared to last year's strong numbers. The number of transactions was also down compared to May. But typically, if we look at a typical market, June, July, and August tend to slow down. You know, summertime, other than during the pandemic, has always been the time where sales slow, people start to vacation, they're spending time with family, with friends, they're not really focusing, and it's the people who need to sell or who need to buy at that time that are still in the market. But this isn't, yes, we have seen less sales and our numbers are down, over a long period of time when we compare it year over year. And even if we compare it to 5 years or 10 years from now. And I think obviously that has to do with not only that it's summertime, but there's that hesitation in the market because all of the interest rate hikes that have happened recently. But this isn't abnormal. What wasn't a normal market was when we were seeing in the last 2 years during the pandemic that the summer was crazy and things were flying off the shelves. That's not typically a summer market around the world. It's not normal. So I think too, my big thing and what I always tell our team and when I talk with colleagues is we need to adjust our expectations because essentially we've been spoiled over the last few years. We've been spoiled with, yes, an amazing market, and it's been super crazy, but we all knew that that was not sustainable. And I think we just need to adjust our expectations so that they're more realistic and kind of adjust now with the period going forward. So one thing to talk about is though the transactions were down year over year, the number of new listings really, it was very little of a change over the same period. This creates more of a balanced market. So we're seeing that, and I think a lot of people in the media has played into this that, there's going to be a crash, the market's going to crash, and we're going to go through this in a few slides, is that there's no indicators that the market is going to crash. There's indicators that the market is cooling down, which the market needed to cool down. It's not normal to see the appreciations that we were seeing year over year. And I think, again, is that we're going into more of a balanced market, which a balanced market is a good market because it's a market for both sellers and for buyers. I think one big thing to watch for is the listings will be an important indicator to watch over the next few months. And that's because the unemployment rate is low with majority of households that aren't in a position to need to sell their home. So that's the thing too, is a lot of people have now purchased and they don't need to sell because they're in a, financially, they're in a good spot. So they're the same thing with buyers that are sitting in kind of a wait and see approach. Sellers are doing the same thing because if they aren't required to sell right now, they're going to wait to see what happens with the market and then bring, their home or their condo, whatever it is, back on the market. So I think that's a big thing to look at when we look at low listings and sales is because really there's not really many listings being put out there right now. If we look at, let's just look at the graph here for sales activity. So you can see that, from June 2022 to June 21, our sales activity is down substantially. But if we look at it from June 20 and June 2019, we're really not down that substantially. So again, it just kind of goes back into if we take into consideration it's a summer market, we take into consideration the recent increases in interest rates. If you really look at this number, it's not as scary as, as a lot of the media and everyone is making it sound. Now, I think the biggest factor is let's look at the average price. If we look at June of this year to June of last year, we're still up in the average price. And if we look year over year, you can see that there has been a gradual increase. So prices have still continued to grow. I think that the unemployment rate and employment growth, so employment growth is going up while unemployment rate is going down. Let's talk to interest rates, they have gone up. But again, if you look at our prime rate, look at the world, we got a property in the US, for example. When I told them the rates we were getting, our agent was shocked. Those are not normal rates. 1.5%, 2%, 2.5% are extremely, extremely low interest rates that I think we always knew were going to eventually climb back up to where they were pre-pandemic numbers. But I really think that this graph and these numbers are very, very important because, again, this is where it comes to what I say is educate yourself and know that don't just compare to last year because, like I mentioned, last year was an abnormal year. This wasn't a normal market. So we need to look at the last few years as a whole and see you can see that average price growth. You can see that, June 2022 compared to June 20 and June 2019, really, we're not down that substantially in terms of sales activity. If you know us very well, we're very heavily involved in the new home, condominium, high-rise, mid-rise, and stack town market. So this is something that we are also watching with very close eyes on kind of what's going on in the market right now. So if you kind of look at what's been going on, our unsold new condominiums in the market rose 36% from an 18-quarter low in Q1. And really though, although it's only declining 6% annually, we remain 20% below the 10-year average. So if you really look at this graph again, and we kind of see the fluctuation, and we all know that real estate's going to go up, it's going to go down. We also have to talk about sales in these quarters and what's launching. What a lot of people don't realize in new condominiums is it's dependent on what launches at that time. In 2017, I remember there was a substantial amount of launches, so there was a lot more product on the market. Right now, in this last 6-month time, we haven't had a substantial amount of launches. So that's also going to bring down our sales numbers because we don't have as much inventory on the market. If we look at the price per square foot, they're averaging right now in Q2 of 2022 was $1,453 per square foot, up 4% quarter over quarter and a 20% year over year. That's a big number to look at because I will tell you, I've had these conversations in 2014 and 2015, when average prices, if you look, were substantially lower. And at that time, and I was in the market as well, you're thinking, wow, no way. We almost hit $1,000 a square foot in downtown. That's crazy. This is crazy. How much more can it really go up? And then let's look at where we are now. And what we don't realize is if you look at Toronto real estate versus any other big city in the world, we are substantially low priced. You look at New York and Manhattan, look at Shanghai, look at Hong Kong, look at all these other big markets, world-class cities, and you will see that their average price per square foot and their average prices are still substantially higher than what we're selling at. And yes, it is extremely high for Toronto, but I think what's happening now is, and we'll talk to immigration in a few slides, but what's happening now is we have immigration coming in. Toronto is being recognized finally as a world-class city. And that growth is happening. And personally, I think it's going to continue to happen. If we look at resale condos, there has been a mild decline of prices, which is about 4.9%, from a high of 988 in Q1 to 940 in Q2. And there's still very low inventory levels. Again, I think the one thing we need to look at for that is the reason that those numbers are low is because anyone who is looking to sell right now, a lot of times they're in a position that they need to sell. They can't hang on to their unit. They have to offload that unit. So again, if they bought this unit in a pre-construction timeline or in a resale market a few years ago, they've made a substantial amount of money. So they can take a little bit less on the purchase price and the sale price than they normally would because they're still pocketing that extra equity that they've built in that property. So I think that a lot of times we just look at number to number and we don't really think, okay, let's look at when they purchased, what they purchased for, and what is their circumstances that number is coming down a bit. And again, it makes sense that the resale numbers would come down because we are, anyone who's buying right now and anyone who's selling right now is dealing with this new increase of interest rates. So this is always that blip that kind of happens around this time. Before I get into immigration, sorry, I'm going to go back to the slide because the one thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to come back to it in another slide, but is why, I think a lot of people expected that new condominiums and new high-rise, low-rise, mid-rise would go down in price. Why isn't it? And I think that's something we will talk to more in depth, but you need to understand that margins for a developer are getting smaller and smaller. They cannot afford for what they paid for that land, for what the charges are from the city, for taxes, for, the interest that they hold on the land when they're selling. They cannot afford to bring prices down. And I can sit here today and confidently tell you that new condos will not come down. New home sales are not going to reduce in price. There may be a few extra incentives. We're seeing it right now. But in terms of pricing, a developer could not afford to reduce the price. And I'll get into that a little bit more in depth in a few slides. Let's talk about immigration, because we know that Toronto's market and Canada is fueled by immigration. And we have 21.9% of Ontario's population is foreign-born individuals. So that's a really big number. And we know that, the Liberals have really put it into play that they want to accept as many immigrants as they can over the next few years. And I think that's really going to play into, real estate and where we see the prices and the growth. If you look at the last 20 years, 80% of all immigrants to Ontario initially settled in the GTA. 80%. That's a big number. And what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of immigrants that come, especially to the GTA, they're coming from backgrounds and owning properties back home and selling them and having the cash to put into the market. And, they've invested in real estate in their home countries, and they know where to that putting their money into the real estate market gets their foot in the door. And that's a very common thing that we're seeing, and they're purchasing with family, with friends. From 2019 to 2046, we're estimating 4.4 million new immigrants are going to settle in Ontario. We're projected to see a modest net gain of almost 30,000 people through interprovincial migration from the rest of Canada. That's a really big thing to talk about. And I know, we talk about immigration and we always think that it's just coming from overseas. But throughout the pandemic, we've actually seen a really big number of immigration from other provinces within Canada. And we ask ourselves, well, why? Well, because Toronto and the GTA is home for opportunity. I'll speak that I was born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I moved here 12 years ago, and I've never looked back. I have a lot of friends and a lot of family who's moved out here because there's been opportunity for them to grow within their business, within their careers. And this has been, they want the lifestyle of the GTA versus a small town or a small city. And I think that's a really big thing we should think about and watch. Because I think it's important that not only is Toronto and the GTA recognized in the world for immigration, but it's also recognized within our country. We're going to talk a little bit about the rental market, because I'm sure we're all seeing that rents and prices have skyrocketed. And I think we all saw this coming. Typically anytime interest rates increase, there is those buyers who were already on that borderline of getting into the market, that are struggling to get into the market, or that are nervous to get into the market. And now with the interest rate hike, either they can't because or it's brought down their purchasing power, and they're not willing to sacrifice and go into something a little bit smaller, or they're nervous, so they're going to go rent for another year. They're going to see what happens and then decide whether they want to get into the market. So I think the big thing is, and we've seen it over the last few months, especially in the last month, that I'm sure, any agents who are on here today can probably say that if they're doing any rentals, they've been dealing with multiple offer situations. It's a very, very tight, tough for people to get into the rental market right now. People who have been renting are seeing their rents, if they're not under rent control, skyrocketing. And with that in part is because during the pandemic, a lot of people brought down their rents a little bit to help out maybe it's a long-term tenant, or because again, the market adjusted itself. We saw a big influx of people leaving the downtown core of Toronto. And now we're seeing the opposite of people coming back. Right. So that's only going to drive your rents. And with that driving rents in the downtown core and in the Toronto proper, you're going to see rents going up around in the GTA as well, because now it's about affordability. So people are willing to move out a little bit. They can get something a bit bigger, and it's still a little bit less. But it's, again, those prices are going up as well, because you're seeing as soon as one market starts to go up, everything around it increases as well. So if you look for, the fifth consecutive quarter, we had record low unemployment and a sharp reduction in home purchasing power, as I mentioned, with interest rates because they increased. So average condo rents in the GTA were up 5.9% from the first quarter of 2022 and 16.7% year over year. So again, to talk to that is during the pandemic, a lot of the rents went down, and we knew that they would go back up. And this is coupled with things kind of getting back to normal, people coming back to the city, and also the interest rate hike, it's drove those rental numbers. And again, these numbers, I'm interested to see kind of by September. I can guarantee you these numbers are going to be substantially higher. And I know you've all seen it. We've been seeing the headlines that they're up, 20% from last year. So we know that we're going to see those continue to climb. And I think that those rents are actually a good thing to go up because it balances the market in terms of sales as well for anyone investing into the market. We need to see, because right now there's been such a big gap of purchase price versus rentals. So that's going to kind of balance the market out as well. I'll let you read the average cost. I won't go through them, but we know now that 1-bedrooms are just over $2,000, 2-bedrooms are renting out close to $3,000, and 3-bedroom units are just shy of $4,000. Vacancy rents in the GTA also plummeted. So a year ago, they were 5.1%. So again, we talked to that pandemic, people kind of moving out of the city, coming back in, and now they're at 1.4%. Condo rental inventory has also dropped to a record low, which is only 1/3 of a month's supply in the second quarter, which again, we'll talk to increases in the cost of rents because a lot of people now are seeing rents going up. They're not moving. They're holding tight. Those tenants that thought about going into the market are sitting and waiting, and they're in a unit that their rent is, a good price, so they're not going to leave. So that's bringing less and less onto the market. So if we look at this, the average rent for a 1-bedroom increased by 20% year over year in the second quarter. 2- and 3-bedrooms increased by 15.3% and 12.8%. So no matter what size unit, they're all double digits of increases year over year. At the same time, supply is tightening. Rental apartments listed on the platform have declined by 30% in the second quarter. So that's, again, going to drive kind of those prices. 81% of the listed apartments in the suburban York region were leased, suggesting that the demand for rental space has been high in the suburbs as well. So as I mentioned, more people are coming into the city, prices are going up substantially. The cost for living to live kind of in the Toronto proper is getting more and more. So people are willing to go out into York region, into Durham, into these areas, and those prices are also, higher because they can adjust it based on what's going on in Toronto proper, but they're still more affordable than someone going into Toronto proper, and you're getting a bit more square footage. So for those who are willing to do, that are okay with being just outside Toronto proper or do that drive, they're going to go over there because they want to get a bit more value for what they're renting. Rental markets are expected to come under increasing pressure because of the expected increase in demand, and this is true. Again, in addition to not only the anticipated arrival of thousands of new immigrants, who a lot of times start out their stay here in the city in the rental market, there's also the increased demand because offices now, downtown, everyone's being recalled into the office, things are getting back to normal, so people want to go back to living close to work, kind of close to work, and have home close by instead of doing that commute now that's a 2-hour drive every single day. And I spoke about this in the beginning of the pandemic. We saw the shift of everyone going crazy in the suburbs, buying a home, buying property, which is great, but a lot of them were doing it based on that short-term work from home. And the question is, my husband and I talk about this all the time, is what's going to happen when all these people are called back into the office? It's going to be, and traffic is going to be increased because more and more people have moved outside the city, that there's going to be, this influx of people coming back to Toronto proper because they don't want to do the commute anymore. It's not worth it for them to do the commute anymore. And I think you've been seeing that over the last 6 months is, a lot of homes have been selling in the GTA because, and it's not that, the suburbs are not a great place to live. They're a fantastic place to live. But if you're working in Toronto proper or in downtown and you're going to do an 1.5 to 2-hour drive each way, that's a lot of time taken. If you look at a typical 1.5 hour drive each way, that's over 3 months of the year that you're spending in your car driving to work, to and from work. So I think a lot of people now are realizing, okay, things are getting back to normal. I want to be back to work. So those people who do not want to do that commute or who are working in the city are starting to look at, selling their homes or getting out of their rentals there and moving back down into the city, which is driving the rental affordability. we'll talk to, like, what's an economist. I think economists are great. I'm constantly reading from Robert. I read from Benjamin Tall as well. They have some great insight on what they see is what's going to happen with the market. And here, both Robert and both Benjamin had said that they do not anticipate a collapse in the house prices at this point. They see it balancing. They see a cool down after a 2-year-long frenzy, which is true. And as I mentioned in the beginning, is that the last 2 years were a frenzy. They were not a normal market. We were spoiled, in a sense of, as a seller, you were spoiled that your home after a year was appreciating the way it was appreciating, because that is not normal. And as a buyer, you struggled to get into the market. And if you got in, congratulations, because there's a lot of people who offer after offer after offer didn't get into the market. So, I think that we'll expect that correction to be over in sometime in 2023, because again, interest rates are going to do these increases. We're going to kind of level out. It's going to become the norm. And then those buyers and those sellers who are sitting on the sideline are going to come back to the market, because they're going to need a home sooner or later, or they're going to need to sell their home sooner or later. And they're going to see that, this is the new norm, and that what we saw over the last few years was not the norm. And we just have to get adjusted now to a more balanced market. I think the other thing to talk about is we've seen, there's a lot of immigration in the pipeline, but a lot of those immigrants haven't been able to get into Canada yet. It's backlogged. The government is backlogged with the immigration, and that's going to start opening up again. And once we see kind of that open, we're going to see a flood to the market of people coming in, because now they're getting here and they need somewhere to live. So that's all going to start again. And I agree with Robert, in the first half of 2023. Personally, I think we're going to see a bit of an increase in the fall as well. I think that people are going to come back from vacations, back from summer holidays. I like to call it my summer brain, of where you're in the market, but you're kind of checked out because the weather's nice and you're sitting here looking outside and wanting to be sun tanning. But I think we're going to see that adjustment of people coming back, and those buyers who've been sitting on the wait line realizing that, prices are not dropping substantially. They're not changing. Interest rates are only going up. So why is right now the best time to buy? And I think that right now the best time to buy is because it is a buyer's market currently. There is the opportunity out there, whether you're looking at resale, whether you're looking at pre-construction, to get into the market. When we speak to pre-construction specifically, and this is something that I really wanted to touch on, because I don't think that people really understand, buyers, agents, what's going on in the development world and why the prices are not going to go down. And they're not going to decline because there's multiple reasonings. So quick rising construction costs. If you've heard about it, construction costs have skyrocketed throughout the pandemic, and this is a supply issue. We're seeing it even if you look at it in the car sector, trying to order a car right now is taking forever. So the construction costs are increasing substantially. Some are starting to go down a little bit, but that's still not at pre-pandemic pricing. So they're still up from what they normally are, and that's a big line item in a pro forma for a developer. You have labor shortages, so trying to get labor has been a substantial problem, that a lot of times it's even just waiting for laborers to come onto the job has been a delay in the construction of projects. The biggest one I want to talk to here is the large increases to development charges. To me, this is extremely important for people to understand. I think we've all heard about, the horror stories of things not being capped and development charges coming out, and they're getting slapped with a $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 bill at closing. Currently, development charges for a 1-bedroom unit are sitting at $30,000 from the city of Toronto. $30,000. That's just development charges. Your 2 bedrooms are sitting closer to $50,000. They are anticipating a 50% increase next year. That means that your 1-bedroom now that was $30,000 is going to be $50,000. That's a substantial increase. Now, what happens in development is typically you'll get capped. So we'll tell you we're capping this at $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. That remaining amount gets absorbed into the price, and the builder kind of works it into their pro forma. If that number is increasing that substantially, we all know what's going to happen next is prices are going to have to increase. Because like I mentioned earlier, the developers' performas are getting smaller and smaller. The money that they're making is shrinking and shrinking because all these costs are going up. And it's a cost of doing business. You know, a developer is not going to come in and build a project if there is no money to be made in building a project, just like we wouldn't start a business if there's no money to be made in a business typically. Like, it's all about the fundamentals of business. So this pricing of new homes is going to rise again in 2023. And in my opinion, largely due to increases in development charges. So really, and why I say right now is the best time to buy, and I'm not just talking about resale, I'm talking about pre-construction as well, is because you are locking in at current development charges and current pricing. So, and make sure that that's locked in, look at your agreements, but most builders do it so that you can make sure that next year when prices go up, you're locked in at this price. I think the other thing to talk about, and the reason that we're going to continue to see prices go up, is the lengthy approval timeline. It takes a substantial amount. It's typically anywhere from 18 to 24 months for a project to get approved through the city. And that's not just the city. Now, once you get your approval, you have to go through the carry-on process, which they've just introduced HCRA. HCRA has been a big reason why a lot of projects that you heard about that are trying to come to market haven't been able to come to market at the timing that they're anticipating, is because we're waiting for our carry-on number. And you cannot sell a new home without that carry-on number. So that can delay that launch process as well. You know, again, other reasons that could increase, that'll continue to increase the new construction is, you know, limited land inventory in the GTA. There's only so many places that you can build now. Higher interest rates, increasing government restrictions. So again, there's a lot of restrictions to development now. You know, there's restrictions to different amenities you have to put in the building, a percentage of how many 2-bedroom and 3-bedrooms in the building. You know, now if you're building within close to public transit, there is the rental portion that you have to include, inclusionary zoning, we're calling it. That's a big one. That's, you know, it's a big hit to a performa. So all these things, and then again, once immigration increases and picks up again, are gonna drive pricing up. And what people don't realize is we look at resale right now, and we see that, yes, resale prices, especially in kind of newer construction condos or mid-rise, low-rise, stacked towns, homes, detached, have gone down a little bit because that's currently now and what's going on in the market right now. But all these projects that are launching at these high prices, is, you know, later on when someone decides that, you know, the building's complete and they live there, they've outgrown the space, and they put that unit on the market, they're gonna make sure that it's priced at the price that they paid, minimum, if not more. So we know if we look at what's happening in pre-construction in the numbers, that's where the market's going. And that's where the market's going to be, because no one's going to buy something now and sell it for, you know, substantially less per square foot 4 years later. And again, if builders cannot build for prices that are less than what they are now, again, they're just going to continue to increase. And these costs and these, you know, development charges and different government restrictions and fees that they charge. You know, we have Section 37, if you know what that is, it's a new one that's come in, that's another big cost to a developer. You have parkland, there's so many aspects that go into pricing a new construction, condo, detached home, townhome, that they're not going to change, and they're only going to go up. And I know I've been harping on that for quite a while, but I think that it's really, really important for us to understand, especially to see where we think the market's going to go, because if those numbers can't come down and they're continuing to sell, then we only know the market's going to continue to rise. I'm going to finish off the talk to the market, to the Canadian economy. Before I get into just, I'm really high level going to talk to some of our projects now and coming. I just want to end it that, you know, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. Like I mentioned, I think right now is the best time to buy. I'm in the market, I'm buying. I am not fearful that we're going to see a crash or a correction. I think we're seeing a slowdown, which, you know, we've spoken about and I think we needed. And I think it's adjusting the market to a more balanced market, which is where we all we all knew this needed to get there. You know, it's scary when it first happens, but I think we're going to see that kind of level out, and we're going to see the market kind of go back to where it is. So really quickly, I'm going to talk to a few projects that we have standing inventory, which we have some great incentives on them. We have the Fenland Lakes Club. So this is a project that we launched in Fenland Falls, which is in the Kawartha Lakes. Great site right on the water. It has 2 condominium buildings that are 5 stories. We have loft townhomes at the back of the site. And then we just launched, what you see here is our Kawartha Lakes collection, which is our waterfront townhomes. There's 10 in total. We had an amazing response to that launch, which we just launched a few weeks ago. We've already sold quite a few of those suites. We still have a few remaining, and they will be starting construction soon. So this is your opportunity to get in. It's only 10% down. Parking and locker is included with all suites. And depending on the floor plan, there is a $50K credit on closing. Any of these that you see here, if you just scan these, it will take you to the website. For Fenland, there is a password, so just make sure that you take that down. For Creemore is, again, another cottage country style purchase. So it's in about 20 minutes from Barrie and 20 minutes from Collingwood. So kind of in that in-between. Creemore is a small town. It's known for skiing, golfing. It's great. This is the only condominium in Creemore. So we launched this. We had a huge demand for it because there's really nothing like it being offered, and it's substantially lower price than, you know, its competitors in the Barrie and the Collingwood market. We have units starting in the 600s. We have only 5% down right now. The building is under construction. So I should mention Fenland is under construction for the condominiums and our loft towns, and we're going to be starting the Kawartha, which is the waterfront town, soon. Creemore is under construction, both buildings. We're offering the 5% only, up to $10,000 credit on closing, and parking and locker is also included. Both of these projects are by MVM Development. We have Forest Hill Private Residences. This is a boutique bespoke luxury building located at 2 Forest Hill Road. They start at 1.8 million and we go upwards to over 6 million. So the big thing here is this is Forest Hill. Like, there's literally no other better location in Forest Hill. You know, you have a building that is boutique. We're under 90 suites total. We're just shy of 90 suites. You have 5-star amenities and services. So pool, gym with towel service, water service. You have a party room with a 20-seater dining table. We have a valet, 24/7 valet. We have concierge. We have a sommelier on staff with its own private building wine collection. You know, I can keep going and I'll be here forever. But I think what makes this really unique is if you look at our pricing and our price per square foot compared to what's been launching in the market and what you're getting here versus a lot of other condominiums, which, you know, are kind of more the norm, kind of, we call it cookie cutter style condo, you're getting a lot more. And I think there's gonna be a lot more value in this building in terms of resale because of this location and what's being offered. We are offering for a limited time for the next few suites only a $50,000 credit on closing. This building is also under construction. Highland Commons, we launched the first phase back in November. Second phase launched the spring of this year. It's located in the highly sought after Highland Creek neighborhood, which is within a few minutes to the U of T Scarborough campus and Centennial College. We have units starting in the 400s, extended deposit structure. We have exclusive VIP incentives. We did just start construction here. We actually just last month had our kind of top off our celebration of construction starting. So that has started as well, and they are well under construction. Now these 2 projects, which we have standing inventory, so 840 on St. Clair, they just began occupancies earlier this month. This is a great project if you're looking for something to get into, to lock it in, to take advantage of rental rates where they're going. If you are looking for something to live in yourself, this is also a boutique building, so it's just shy of 120 suites. We have units starting in the low 800s. They're averaging $1,230 PSF. This is a really big number because in the area, any pre-construction that's recently launched is between $1,600 to $1,800 per square foot. So again, you're getting in substantially lower. You only are required for 5% down. All developer closing costs are capped. We have 1 cap for all closing costs from the developer, and majority of our suites have been upgraded and there's no additional cost to the buyer. The Roncy, which is in Roncesvalles neighborhood, just recently registered earlier this month. We have a few lofts and some townhomes that are coming. The lofts are on the ground floor. They're 2 levels. They've all been upgraded. That's included in the price. They include a parking and a locker. The townhomes, there's 4 only that are at the back. Those are being built right now. They should be finished in about the next 2 to 4 weeks. And those are being offered exclusively. They were just released. We only have 93 suites, and of that, 4 of those are the town. So in the actual condominiums, there's only 89 in the building. So it's a very boutique building, very high-end finishes, gas cooktop. You know, again, like I said, almost everything we have is 90K plus and upgrades left, and they're move-in ready, never been lived in. We have 36 Zora, which is another all-tree project. This launched in 2019. Well under construction. If you drive down the Gardner, you'll see it there. Ellis Don's been doing it pretty quickly. You know, their partners, Ellis Don and Alltree, they're over the 30th floor now. We're going to be doing the top off soon of the roof. They're starting in the 600s. We just released more suites. We were previously sold out. We have a deposit structure of only 5% down. There's upgraded finishes included in many of the suites at no additional cost. We've capped development charges and education levies. And again, this is an unbeatable Etobicoke location. We're averaging just over $1,200 a square foot here as well. 55C, which is Bloor Yorkville. This launched as well in 2019, well under construction. We have suites starting from the 900s. We're offering an extended deposit structure with only 5% this year. Big thing here is very unique suite designs and luxury finishes. So if you don't know 55C, we really, you know, Mod Developments, who's the developer, is very big about design. So the building itself is stunning, but also the suite finishes and interiors are very unique in their nature. A little quick snapshot. So low deposits. We have many sites that have low deposits, including Fenlon, 840 on St. Clair, 36 Zora, Creemore condos. Also, we have 55 Charles is a lower deposit structure in there as well. Limited time inventory remaining with incentives. You have them listed here for you. Closing soon. So the Roncy and 840. So Roncy is immediate. It's registered. 840 just started their occupancy. So that one should register likely in about 6 months. And you have 36 Zora, which is coming in probably end of 2023. And also to talk to that, 55 Charles should be ready end of 2023 into 2024. New and upcoming. So we're going to talk at the end of this presentation about Pacifico, which is a really unique project that we have partnered with and we are launching in Costa Rica. We have Porta condominiums. Porta is coming in the fall in September. And the Quartha collection at Fenlon Lakes Club, which we spoke about earlier, but that is the waterfront towns in Fenlon Lakes Club and Fenlon Falls that just launched. Down the pipeline. So one thing to speak to is Porta as our next launch, which is going to be in September, so of this year. We are having a pop-up event, just kind of a learn more on August 27th on site. So Porta is in Belleville, Ontario. It is a waterfront community, 3 towers, approximately 300 units with over 20,000 square feet of commercial space on the ground floor with a marina right next door. This is an extremely unique project. There is nothing like it in Belleville or really in Prince Edward County. You are minutes to downtown Belleville, but you're also right at the edge of the bridge. So within 2 minutes, you're in Prince Edward County, 20 minutes to a lot of the main attractions in Prince Edward County as well. It's a great investment opportunity, vacation home opportunity. It's a great full-time, if you're looking to buy and live opportunity. It's a really unique project. So if you are interested, please join our priority access for updates, but also reach out to info@hirschandassociates.ca and we can send you over the invitation. This is open to the community, to buyers, to agents, August 27th, which is a Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. and it'll be on site in Belleville. Just to speak to what we have in the pipeline, this is really condensed to what we have coming next year, or between this fall and next year, sorry. So we have condominiums coming at Yonge and Eglinton. It'll be approximately 300 units. We have 2 stacked townhome sites by Spear Developments. Those are coming in Welland and St. Catharines. Big thing with those, it's going to be really, we're looking at affordable end prices and really a great opportunity for first-time buyers to get in or for investors to get in as well. We have quite a few sites down the pipeline with All Tree Developments. So we have 412 Marley, which is right near the Glencairn subway station. We have 2 sites on Kingston Road. One's in the Cliffside neighborhood and one's in the Birchcliff neighborhood. Those are also coming next year. And then we have another, it's going to be a master plan community with Gemterra Developments, which is also coming in the Scarborough neighborhood. So this is just a little bit of what we have in the pipeline, which is why we've been kept so busy over the summer. But we're very excited to be working to bring those to market and to be working with, you know, our group of agents, our buyers, and our developers for the success of these projects. Before I end today, I'm gonna pass it over to Krista, who's gonna talk a little bit about Pacifico. I think it's a really unique project. You know, typically Hirsch doesn't take on sites outside of kind of the GTA, that's our niche. However, I visit Costa Rica often. I actually have been looking there for quite some time, investing in that market. And when Krista came to us with this opportunity of this unique project in a absolutely amazing area, in my opinion, one of the best areas in Costa Rica, I thought it was too good to turn down. So we are just launching that project. I think it's really interesting because it's a great project from an investment standpoint, if you're looking for a vacation home standpoint, or for a lot of people, because there's been such a big immigration into Costa Rica, for people who work from home and want something that they can overlook the ocean and overlook the water while they're working. Before I end this and pass it over to Krista, I want to talk to Electric Real Estate. Don't know if you saw the e-blast. We are throwing this summer's most iconic, biggest, baddest party. It's all in support of BMT versus Sick Kids. If you haven't heard, it's a very good friend of ours, Sherry DeBeer, in the industry, who has started this charity initiative. It's very, very close to her heart, and in return, it's close to our hearts. We're very excited to be launching this and throwing. If you haven't been to a Hirsch party, you don't know what you're missing. I promise you, they are the best. And not only are they just a Hirsch party now, we've partnered with quite a few of our colleagues in the industry to make this the biggest, the baddest, the best party, all in support of BMT, it's the Kids Foundation. It's for the kids. I believe in giving back. I believe in paying it forward for good karma. It's August 24th, which is a week from today on Wednesday, 7 p.m. until late. The Laneway Events Venue, which is in North York. We have a lot of surprises planned, a lot of entertainment. Big thing is we have DJ Delirious, if you know, is known for 90s music. So this is our spin on anyone who remembers Electric Circus, which is the good old days. This is our spin on it. It'll include a lot of entertainment, food, open bar. So please purchase your tickets before they're sold out. Share it with friends, share it with family, share it with colleagues. It's a time for us all to get together, to mingle. Tickets are going to be eligible for a partial tax receipt as well. If you're interested in sponsorships, please reach out direct, and I can send you that package if you reach out to info@hirshandassociates.ca. So Krista, I am going to stop sharing and I'm going to send it over to you. Thank you everyone for listening to me ramble on. I know I talk fast. I appreciate it. Please hang tight. This is an amazing project. I think it's a great opportunity and I'm excited to have Krista here to present it to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking around. And that was a very informative session on Kara's part. So thank you for that, Kara. I'm going to turn everyone's focus outside of Canada now. We were so lucky to be in a market in Toronto and have, like she was saying, have been quite spoiled for many years. And now I'm going to take you to a different market where, you know, we're noticing the market here cooling. Now I'm taking you into a market where the frenzy has begun. So bear with me one moment. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. Now I'm going to take you to Costa Rica, the beautiful country of Costa Rica, where we've seen quite a bit of influx in terms of not just tourism, but people actually relocating. Pacifico itself is, I mean, such an amazing community. It's got a 14-year rich history, which, you know, when selling something like this, you want to make sure, you know, the country in terms of the government is sound. You want to make sure the developers are sound. And of course, you want to make sure that they've got that history in terms of appreciation, rental returns, and, you know, your location is bang on. We are very lucky that we tick off all of those boxes. This rendering is going to give you a nice depiction and nice overall area, an aerial view of Pacifico. We are a coastal community in the heart of Playa del Coco. Pacifico is nestled in the hills overlooking Coco Bay. So this bay that you see right here is Coco Bay. The town of Coco offers an amazing blend of local Tico and expat culture, wonderful restaurants, shops, a beautiful beach, fishing, and access to an array of outdoor adventures. Pacifico is a 175-acre master planned community featuring fully guarded gated entrances, housing 300 villas, townhomes, and condominiums, along with over 150 ocean view homes nestled in the mountain. Amenities include exclusive membership to the Pacifico Beach Club, new multi-sports complex, multiple pools, with a full-service bar, walking trails, waterfall, and children's play area. This rendering will give you an aerial view of the existing development. So you can see here, there's multiple pools that run right through the development. And these are your approximately 300 villas that are already, you know, we sold those about 14 years ago. They rarely come to the market for sale. There's a wait list. People knock on, you know, everyone from agents to tourists knocking on these poor people's homes asking for them to sell. I mean, really, they got such a steal when they bought 14 years ago, and the rental returns are just absolutely phenomenal. Now, the reasons to invest in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a politically stable country with a thriving economy. It is the safest country in Central America. In terms of education, it is free, social stability with international schools. It's important to note that, you know, we no longer have an army in Costa Rica. We haven't for quite some time. They've really used the resources, the funds that most countries use to have an army, and they put that right into their education and healthcare. And again, universal healthcare for not only locals, but foreigners as well. In terms of the government, they have made a sincere effort to encourage foreign investment. Foreigners have the same property rights as citizens. So you do indeed own your land, and it is registered in the registry. So unlike our partnering areas like Nicaragua, countries like Nicaragua, they don't actually own the rights to their land. So we get that question quite a bit. You know, when I purchase, do I actually own my home? Do I own my land? Is it registered? Yes, it is. In terms of tax incentives, very low property taxes, 0.25% of the purchase price. That's been a huge attraction. Not just the tax incentives, but many other incentives as well in terms of corporate tax. And I'll get into a few more in a moment. We're connected to the world. Free trade agreements with over 50 countries, part of the World Trade Organization member as well. We are #1 in the Happy Planet Index. In terms of the blue zone, we have the longest life expectancy, and total tourism into Liberia is 1.3 million. It is the most visited country in Latin America. Now, reasons to invest in Pacifico. Again, 14-year rich history. It is one of the most sought after communities in all of Guanacaste. Reputable, award-winning architects and builders. We've got stunning views of the mountain in Coco Bay. That one rendering gives you a real good depiction of what your views will be like. But it's really important to note, like, as you're going through the mountain, there's so many different areas and so much different landscape that you really, when you're even just in the gates of Pacifico, you just feel like you're nowhere else. Top-notch amenities. We have 5-star amenities, great fishing and adventure. There is room for appreciation. So I mentioned the frenzy has begun. We really noticed this predominantly in, I'd say, 2019. More south of us, we hear of like Nosara being, you know, the spot. Nosara is Nosara now. When you purchase in Nosara, you are purchasing at, you know, at a price point now where the room for appreciation, you can still find it, but it's not like what it used to be. We still have high rental returns, especially within the gates of Pacifico. We see that time and time again, and we see the appreciation time and time again. We are only 20 minutes from the LIR International Airport. This is a huge plus. I've been all over Costa Rica. Beautiful. Every part of Costa Rica has something to offer, absolutely. In terms of somebody buying in another country, you really look for proximity to an airport. And I will tell you why. Throughout Costa Rica, a lot of it still is yet to be developed. So, you may think you want to go somewhere, very south or in a more remote area. Once you land and it takes you, they tell you it takes you maybe an hour, 45 minutes, and you get into Costa Rican traffic, or you get into rainy season where there's mud everywhere and the roads are not paved, you are wishing you would be very much closer to your destination. And you wish that your roads were paved as well. It seems fun and off the beaten track. Wait about a few days and you're going to wish that in terms of if you're purchasing there, that you purchase somewhere a little bit more developed. Now, this is a map of Costa Rica, giving us a little better indication as to where we are. There are 7 provinces in Costa Rica. We are part of the Guanacaste province. So we're located on the northern region here on the Pacific. This is all of Guanacaste. So you've heard of Santa Teresa, you've heard of probably Nosara, even Tamarindo. Now we are 45 minutes north in the waters of the Gulf of Papagayo. Oh, apologies. This is where we're located, so in the northern area. Again, 20 minutes from Liberia Airport, right here. In terms of the Papagayo area, many probably have heard of this area. It's really where all your 5-star hotels are. The Peninsula Papagayo, which is this peninsula right here, has all your 5-star hotels. So that's where you're going to find your Papagayo Four Seasons, the Ritz-Carlton, the One and Only, the Andaz. This is where the concentration of those high-end resorts are. Not only just the hotel portion, but they also have a residential portion as well, which is really huge for us and in our positioning in the market. Anything around us, like I said, in terms of residential being sold right now, and our competition or our competition really in the market are these 5-star hotels, which really kind of put us in an interesting position because anything they're launching is really in that, anywhere from the 4 million to some homes are going for 12 million over on that peninsula. We share the same waters, the same views, and we are one of the only 5-star gated communities that are not attached to a branded 5-star hotel. So we have a pocket that we can work with in terms of pricing. We want that higher end attachment, obviously, but because we're not a branded hotel, we're in a more interesting area, interesting pocket to sell. Any gated communities around us, great gated communities as well. However, just not at the level that Pacifico is at. We're just going to narrow in, and this kind of gives you a better zoom in. The coastal community of Pacifico is centrally located, again, a mere 20 minutes from Liberia International Airport, offering direct flights from most North American and European cities. It is a 5-hour direct flight from YYZ to LIR and 20 minutes from the airport to the gates of Pacifico. It shares waters with the nearby Four Seasons, the Andaz resorts located on the Peninsula of Papagayo, as well as the Mangrove Hotel and Secrets hotels as well. The Ritz-Carlton Reserve, Waldorf, and One and Only hotels will soon be neighbors to the Pacifico area and as it continues to develop. So again, we are this bay right here, Pacifico. Here we have Playa Hermosa, where the One and Only is, and then we get into the waters of the Papagayo, and this is the peninsula here. This is just a basically a site plan of our development. Again, 175 acres. The existing community is here to the left, just to kind of get your bearings in terms of where the water is. This is all the water around us here. So here's the main street of Playa del Coco. You're going to find a lot of restaurants, shops. It's a real beach town. You can, walk everywhere. You can drive everywhere. You're going to see a lot of golf carts, bumping around everywhere. There is a lot of live entertainment, music, bars as well to keep everybody's interest going at night. As you enter the gates of Pacifico, we've got retail space to the left. You're going to find our sales office presentation center in there, as well as some restaurants. We've got our lawyers in there, banks who we have great relationships with in terms of financing, which is a huge plus. To the right, we've got a international market. I call it your Whole Foods, if you will, of Costa Rica. Now, this is the newly renovated sports complex. Huge. We've got everything from, 4 outdoor tennis courts, indoor outdoor pools, bocce ball, basketball courts, you name it, it's in here. Indoor outdoor fitness center, all located in this newly developed complex. Oops. Now, this whole bottom lower level is what's already been developed. As we move up the mountain, this is where we're getting into our newer development. Located here, as we ascend up the mountain, is Naomi condominiums. These are the first 50 condominiums, 5 buildings, boutique buildings that will offer ocean views from every single suite. Every level has an ocean view we're now ascending on top of the mountain. So this is huge for us. I mean, everything, like I mentioned, that's already on the lower level, rented out all the time, rarely comes for sale, and they have no views at all. I mean, the grounds are absolutely stunning, but to have that kind of appreciation and have those rental returns with no ocean views, it really speaks to the development. So as we move up the mountain here, you're going to see this whole area. We have some homes that are already, these were lots that were purchased over the past, I'd say, 8 years or so, 6 to 8 years. So there are homes and developments that have already been built. We still have so much more to develop on. So besides Naomi Ocean View condominiums, in the back area here, we are developing homesteads. So these run between 2,000 and 3,000 square feet. 4-bedroom homes come with your private plunge pools. They have no ocean views. However, they're set on a kind of a decline in the mountain. It gives it more of a jungle kind of feeling. So you've got your waterfall in there, you've got the monkeys howling, the birds chirping. It's a real peaceful, private little section of the mountain. So they've had a lot of interest as well. The pricing is price perfect. We'll get into that in a moment as well. But in terms of, you've got either ocean view condominiums that you can sell, or you've got these Bosque homesteads. There's a little something for everyone. In this top area, this is what will be coming in the next future development, I would say probably by next year, in terms of the demand that we have right now. These will be estate homes. So this will occupy the very top of the mountain, and I am talking views that, will just take your breath away. You have ocean, 365 degrees, you've got the volcanoes to the right, you've got the mountain range to the left. It's just absolutely breathtaking. Now, to get into a little bit of Naomi, this is really our most anticipated development, new development anyhow. Again, we've got 5 6-story boutique buildings with 10 suites per building and 2 suites per floor. There will be 2 penthouses per building occupying the 5th and 6th floors. Suites will range from 2,000 to 4,000 square feet and offer 2, 3, and 4-bedroom floor plans. They will be the first condominiums in Pacifico to offer ocean views from every floor, as well as below covered parking and lockers, which are our first in the community as well. The next few renderings are really going to kind of give you that look and feel for the space. Neutral calming tones and modern appeal with seamless indoor-outdoor living in mind. So really, you can see here, these are your views. And again, there's no difference between indoor and outdoor living when you live in Costa Rica. Besides the many pools that run throughout the entire development on the lower level that everyone has access to, we will offer 2 additional pools. So additional space for homeowners to relax and refresh amongst the 5 buildings. A play area will offer some green space for kids to run around and play, and walking paths will allow strolling and more in the morning and at sunset hour as well. You really kind of have all those hiking trails, and you can really get lost within your own development. So it makes for some interesting strolls. Again, there's no divide between interior and exterior. All nature is around us. The beauty of the ocean is always in view. The lifestyle provides all modern comforts you would expect, with the inspiring beauty that draws all of us to Costa Rica. Now, in terms of what everyone's probably most interested in, HOAs. HOAs are $675 a month, and they include landscaping, roads, garbage removal, maintenance of common elements, and the beach club membership as well. That's huge. A lot of developments charge for that additional beach club. Ours is right in with our HOAs. Our occupancy is set for summer of 2023, so this time next year. It is a quick build. These are more boutique style. They've already leveled out the ground for Naomi. So, you know, we're just waiting to start the sales and get things started. They are very excited to get that shovel in the ground. 50 underground parking spots and 50 storage lockers as well come with this, and included in the purchase price. So we are starting from $675 US right up to the penthouse right now in Tower 5 that is just under 1.3 million. In terms of our deposit structure, we really wanted to make this as turnkey and as North American as possible in terms of our sales program. So making it a little easier for not only agents when selling, but also for investors that really kind of are used to our pre-construction sales programs. So 25% down, you will not see another kind of deposit structure like this in Costa Rica. 25% down is amazing to be able to offer. Most would like 50% down. That's kind of the norm that I really see. A lot of that has to do with financing in Costa Rica. So 5,000 on signing, 10%, the balance of 10% in 30 days. For a firm deal, and then 7.5 at the construction of the roof, which is approximately 7 months, and then another 7.5% at completion, which is about 10 months. So that's a total of 25% before occupancy. We've got first year pricing that we are launching with. One of the most attractive incentives is our Pacifico rental and property management services. This is huge. We, like I said, made this as turnkey as possible. When you go to rent, if you're buying this for investment strictly, we will do everything for you. We will property management, we will rent it, we will market it, we will take everything off your hands, and we will attract very high rentals for you. We have a reduced boat club membership. We are the only gated community offering a private boat membership club. So, I mean, in terms of incentives, this is huge. It's valued at $15,000. Only for new development, new purchasers, we're offering it at half the rate, $7,500. And it's only offered to those who opt into the rental program. Same with the free furniture package, a value of $82,000. It's very turnkey. Everything that you see in those pictures is really what you're going to get when you walk in. We are also offering developer financing, huge in Costa Rica. It's not easy to get financing in Costa Rica. We do have partnerships with a few banks in the area. So please reach out to me afterwards and we can really kind of give you a better understanding as how you go about purchasing in Costa Rica and with our development. Closing costs, only 2.5% of the purchase price. And again, free underground and parking and locker, apologies. Now we are going to get into Bosque, the tropical village homes. Those are situated more in the mountain range. And again, no views, but a very more private area. So Bosque is a collection of 15 single-family 4-bedroom homes with stunning mountain views. Nestled among the trees, the Tropic Village offers ultimate tranquility and connection with nature. Each home is named after a tree that resides on the property to remind us of our connection with nature. Hiking trails, a yoga deck, and picnic area all complete this area of the community. We have 2 floor plans, a single level and a double level home. So here you'll see this is the single family floor plan, and this would be the double, all coming with your plunge pools and outdoor space for entertaining as well. So the beautiful thing about these homes is the privacy they offer, each with its own pool for taking a refreshing dip and a large deck area ideal for entertaining. These homes are designed to flow seamlessly from the inside out with large panel glass doors and easy access to kitchen when entertaining. All units have been meticulously planned to incorporate the environment. taking into account the shade of the forest canopy, the crosswinds of the valley area, and the orientation of the sun. The units are eco-focused and solar panel ready. Next couple of renderings are really just kind of give you that feeling of the eco mixed with modern and the luxury mixed with the outdoor nature. In terms of what we're offering for Bosque, all homes consist of 3 bedrooms with single or 2-story options. All homes have additional, what we call bonus quarters or service quarters down there off the garage. So that really gives you a 4th bedroom. It comes with, you know, a full bedroom area and bath. Some people use it for guest quarters. A lot of people down there, especially those that are purchasing for long-term, they usually come with service. So that's kind of their quarters. In terms of the deposit structure, $5,000 on signing, balance to 10% in 30 days, 7.5 at the installation of the roof, which is about month 3, 7.5 at completion for a total of 25%. We have already started construction on a couple of these Bosque homes. So 15 in total. The shovel's been in the ground and they work very quickly. So it's been a great process to watch. You can also go to the Pacifico website where you'll see actually live construction updates as well. Our HOA fees are a little less for Bosque homes. They are $480 a month, excluding water and hydro. I want to take a quick second to talk about water. Anywhere within Costa Rica, this is actually a huge issue. You wouldn't think because we are, you know, surrounded by water, but most of the country runs their energy off this water as well. So in terms of the dry season, we can get into some very dry months. Within the gates of Pacifico, we have water straight through for every property. We have so many wells, we never run into that situation. So, you know, when you're looking at other areas, other developments, it's very important to understand water and what you're getting for the price that they're offering. Property taxes, again, only 0.25% of the purchase price. We are also currently cooperating at 3% US dollars with outside brokers. This is also huge. Not many developers are cooperating with outside agents. That's really because they don't have to. There's such limited inventory right now and such high demand. However, with these developers, not only do we have a lot of future development coming, they've also purchased a lot more land. So we will be busy and we really want to bring this to North America and predominantly Toronto. You know, who knows how to sell pre-construction better than we do, really. One of the builders is Canadian, the other is Costa Rican. So important to have sound developers. You know, the Costa Rican developer is a very prominent man in Costa Rica with very heavy ties. We get a lot of things done very quickly. And then the Canadian gentleman really understanding our market, the real estate, and wanting to present this to our agents here. With the Bosque Homes first year pricing, property management available. With the Bosque Homes, a little different. We're not offering the rental portion. You can Airbnb it out if you like. It's the only development at the moment that you can do that. Naomi, we will not allow that. Also, we can help with the furniture package as well. We are offering the reduced boat club membership, developer financing, as well as exclusive bank financing as well. And closing costs only 2.5% of the purchase price as well. So that really concludes this presentation. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for letting me open your minds to a new real estate market. And please, if anybody wants any more information, I would love to, you know, get you selling Costa Rica, especially through us. It's been such an amazing journey for me going through all of this. It's been amazing working with Kara, as you all know. And another thing to point out, you know, it would be great to get people down there as well. Agents, bring your clients. The developers are offering friends and family rate if you do want to go down and tour the property. We've already had agents go down. They were raving about how well they were taken care of. And I really just think it speaks to, you know, when you're selling a new development. Kara and I will be going down the last week in September. If anyone would like to join us, we are going to go through the entire development. We already have quite a few people coming down, and we can't wait to just enjoy some Costa Rican sunshine. So thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thanks. Thank you, Krista. And I am preparing my liver for the end of September when we go enjoy La Vida in Costa Rica. So thank you. Yeah, live in La Vida. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today again. We're going to sign off. Krista, thank you so much for going through this. Like Krista mentioned, it is a very unique project. I think it's, you know, it's something that we're going down to go take a look, but also looking at for personal investment purposes. So if you would like to join us, please reach out to Krista or myself. We'd love to have you there. The more friends, the merrier, the more fun it is, and be able to tour kind of the site and the location with you if you're not familiar with it. But thank you again. We hope this was informative to you. We appreciate you taking the time out on your Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend, rest of your summer. And as mentioned, any information you need, please reach out to Krista for Pacifico or our team at info@hirshandassociates.ca, and they will be able to kind of lead the email to where it needs to go. Thanks again, and we will see you soon.